Just like that time when it got weird between Mulder and Scully.
You can't quit now, Scully.
I can, Mulder.
This is Luke and Lewis on Triple M Modern Digital.
That's right, it's the Luke and Lewis show. This is the second time that you may have heard our intro. If you heard the intro about 10 minutes ago, followed by 5 minutes of silence, firstly, you're welcome.
Yep.
Secondly, welcome to Triple M Modern Digital.
It's great to have you here. I'm sure you're probably gone by now, but
Yep, so we've got a great show coming up for you guys. We've got a guest joining us later in the show.
We do have a guest joining us later in the show, Mr. Joseph Green.
Yes.
He was outside of our studio throwing pebbles at the window, and we thought, hey mate, come on in and do an interview.
Yep, which is how we get all of our guests
The
these
only
days.
way to get an interview on our shows, you actually got to rock up to our studio and beg. And also, Lewis, you've got a game about millennial news headlines.
Yes, I do. It's a very difficult game.
And I also want to talk to you about missing the blood moon last night. I keep forgetting
the
what it's called.
red blood moon. I don't know.
Everyone's been calling it a blue blood moon. It was bright pink, so I don't know. That's
We both
false-
saw it on Facebook.
Fake news.
We both missed it, but that's coming up later in the show. This is Luke and Lewis. We are joined by a very special guest. Welcome to the show, Mr. Joseph Green.
Wow, thanks for having me, gentlemen.
Now, how this interview occurred was we were just sitting in here doing the show, and we get a text from our buddy Joseph Green saying, "Hey boys, I'm outside the window. Can you see me?" And we were just like popped outside, and sure enough, Joseph's standing on the street, pegging rocks at the window, begging to be interviewed.
I was.
Was that your intention?
It was secretly.
It's paid off dividends.
It was. So I sent you I sent both of you a message because I was like, I gotta
Maximise your chances.
Yeah, get them both at the same time, and I was getting. I think consciously I was getting a spud from the Spud Bar.
Yeah.
But I think subconsciously I just wanted to be part of the show.
Yeah. And that's generally how we organise interviews because really we can't really get big name celebs. So if anyone wants to just hang out outside the window, that's how we pick our guests.
Yeah.
We just go, oh, that guy over there, he's been in the street for a bit. Let's get him in the show.
Clarendon Street.
Today we actually happen to know him, so
yeah,
that was convenient.
Thank you. It's an honour to be here.
So Joseph Green, comedian, beloved friend, and very talented, I would say writer as well.
Thank you, Luke.
And the comedy festival's coming up for you.
It is. For all of us,
yeah,
except for Lewis.
Except for me, yes. I'm doing a show in September. I'm just going to thoroughly enjoy both of your shows.
Great.
That's my plans for the comedy festival. You guys are doing how many shows?
I think
I'm doing 12.
Maybe 23.
Well, he's killing me.
Luke's
Doubling
slacking
up.
off.
I am.
Yeah, you're slacking off almost as much as I am.
I'm just going to go see Joseph's show 9 times, but I'm not doing mine.
That's
But
cool. So what's your show called? What's it about?
It's called Dreamer Examines His Pillow, and I guess it's about being sexually assaulted by priests.
Mm-hmm. Very funny stuff.
It's pretty relatable, man.
I hope it's funny. Otherwise, it really. Otherwise, the whole thing was not worth it.
Well, at least you get 23 nights of laughs out of it.
So is it? So can you elaborate on this? You don't have to elaborate too much, but
Yeah.
So it is about an experience that happened to you, then you've since made
I
light
guess
of it.
that will be part of it.
It's not just about that. I've heard some of it. You got other stuff.
No, it's about how my girlfriend left me for a funnier comedian than me.
Yep.
And Mike's going, what?
Sounds like a real night of laughs, man.
Sounds like just
Radio
a
Mike
feast
just
of
started to
giggles.
cry.
And yeah, hopefully it's funny.
It's going to be an absolute roller coaster ride.
Yeah, I think so. I who knows? But so far so good. I'm performing most nights trying to work it out.
And you just came back from Rainbow Serpent Festival doing some gigs there.
I did. That was fun. There's
It's a music festival that's, if you don't know, it's notoriously known for it being incredibly loose. It's one of those. It's borderline. It's like
It's a
the biggest
bush
bush doof ever.
yeah, and I don't know if they really resonate with my hippie vibes.
Yes.
One guy came up to me. He was like, "Man, I loved you so much, dude. I loved it so much." I'm like, "Oh, that's great, man. You thought I was funny?" He's like, "No, man, I actually just love your voice." As soon as you started, I just went straight to sleep, and as soon as you stopped, I woke up. And I was like, "Oh, that was a good nap."
So, if you'd like to see Joseph Green's show, if you need a good snooze, He'll be doing the comedy festival. Not many laughs, but a lot of good Z's in there.
I'm 10:30, so real. Good,
Prime sleep time.
Yeah, good
early
bedtime.
bedtime.
And what's your thoughts on music festivals? Because I've never actually performed at a music festival. You've done a fair few of them.
I have.
And I've never been to a music festival. I just have an utter distaste for the idea of them.
Yeah, I used to hate them as well until
you
they
went.
Started getting paid to go there.
Yeah. They really, actually, depending on like, how they do it, I mean, this is just the technical things of just running a good comedy night.
Yeah.
If there's like an enclosed space where everyone's attention and focus is on the performer, then it can work. If it's just an open air thing and you've got other dance floors happening either side, and you know, another friend of ours, he came to Rainbow and he just arrived and went straight on stage.
Yeah.
And the lights were very, very bright, and he was doing his best material, and he's like, why isn't this not killing? But it was 2:00 in the morning, and everyone was either in the middle of a trip or fast asleep. And there was no one in between.
Now, we need to go to a song, Joseph, but if you can stick around, we want to talk about the blue, red, blood, whatever colour moon it was that Luke and I both missed and you saw.
I would love to talk about that.
All right. It's Luke and Lewis. We are still joined by Joseph Green, who got this exclusive interview by standing outside our window throwing rocks at it.
Now, Joseph, we wanted you to stick around because we were talking just before about the blood moon.
Yeah.
And Lewis, Radio Mike, or I all missed it last night.
It wasn't just a blood moon, it was a super blue blood moon.
But it was red, so
Yes.
I don't know why. I don't understand science, and that's the point. I just didn't care. I had like so much time to go out and see it. I actually had it suggested to me by my girlfriend's mum.
Yeah.
Was like, "Hey, you guys should go check it out." And we were watching TV. We're like,
Yeah. I was in the house.
I'll see it in 60 years.
I was in my house scrolling through Facebook, and I actually saw Joseph Green post on Facebook saying, "You have to see this. Please go outside and have a look at the moon."
Yeah.
I saw that, I read that, and I went, "You know what, Joseph? I'm playing World of Warcraft." No.
Was it worth it? Should have we?
It's really. I mean, it's not funny, but it's really beautiful.
Yeah. Was it? Was it actually really nice?
I think it really was. It just has very mystical quality when you see. It was a full moon, and so how it actually works.
It's supposed to be once in a generation
and
this ever happens.
The sun was right behind the Earth as it's sort of moving, so the Earth's shadow is slowly going across the moon.
Oh, cool.
And so you see this happening very slowly over maybe 30 or 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Until the whole thing's in a dark, sort of reddish hue.
That actually sounds really
that
beautiful.
They call blue. And
Are they doing any replays tonight? Or
I don't know.
now I'm really cut that I missed it.
You made me really sad. I just didn't want to run the risk of turning into a werewolf. I was like, it's not worth it. So I'll just stay inside. But this got us thinking. We started talking about what other things have we missed. And we put it out to you guys. What things have you missed just on Instagram and stuff? And people have missed. Liam came in and said, I missed Lewis's first show in Brisbane, but it really wasn't cool. Probably not as good as the Blood Moon anyway.
Yeah, well, my first show in Brisbane had about 17 people in the audience, so I think the other 97 also missed that show.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't very full.
And another one comes in from Steph saying last year in Gympie she missed a Reese Maston show.
A
Definitely
appearance of Reese Maston.
See, that only happened. That probably happened. That's probably rarer than a super blood moon. So you want to catch that when he comes.
A
to
super
Gympie.
blood moon happens every 140 years.
Yeah, and Reese Maston comes
in
once.
Gympie. That's that's never again.
No, yeah.
In Gympie, the expected lifespan is about 30.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know Reese's tour schedule, but he's not coming back. So. Joseph, you had a story of something you'd missed. Was this better or worse than the moon?
It was the story. I don't know. I'll leave that for you to judge.
Okay.
What happened was I was I was in New York at a communal table at a sort of restaurant one evening, and I was there with a girl who I thought we were there as friends. And there was a woman next to me. At one point, the girl I was with started looking at her phone, and the woman next to me was looking at her phone, and my eyes sort of just glared across, and I saw she was texting Jenna Jameson. Now, Jenna Jameson, very well-known
adult film star.
Adult film star.
That's how you say it on radio.
Yeah. At one point, the most prodigious of the film stars. And I saw she was texting Jenna Jameson, and I shouldn't have done this, but without inhibiting any impulse, I just tapped her on the shoulder and I said, "Excuse me, I'm really sorry to say this. I know I'm intruding, but I just couldn't help but notice that you were texting Jenna Jameson. Is that the Jenna Jameson, or is that just like a nickname for a friend of yours?"
Yeah.
And
very rude and snoopy from a total stranger.
But the thing is, I mean, this is not good for radio, but she was holding her phone up like at an uncharacteristically.
Oh, you reckon she might have been showing off?
No, she wasn't showing off. She kind of. It was there to be seen. It wasn't. You know, some people have a concealing way of texting. Other people put it up there.
So she was intentionally mum texting.
Yeah, and
3 meters away from her face.
Yeah, and had big text that said Jenna Jameson, and she said, "No, it is the Jenna Jameson." And I said, "Oh, that's amazing. I'm a big fan." And I'm like, "What's Jenna up to?" She's like, "Well, she's actually just around the corner. She's in New York for a few days, and we were deciding if we should catch up tonight." I'm like, "Oh my God, where are you catching up?"
I think I'm going to hate the end of this story because it started off with, "This is what I missed out on."
Well, she said, well, we're just deciding whether I should go to her or she should come to me. I'm like, "Bring Jenna here."
Bring her to me.
And so she texted Jenna, and she's like, Jenna's single right now. I'm like, "I didn't, but..."
I gather from her body of work, I would imagine it'd be quite difficult to find someone okay with that.
But then she texted Gemma saying, "Hey, you should come here. There's this cute Australian guy who would love to meet you." And she wrote back, "Haha, sounds good. Smiley face." I'm like, "Oh my God." It's actually happening.
And what's happening to the friend that you're actually supposed to be there with?
So exactly. Now that's the important part of this story. I was getting so excited about the prospect of potentially meeting Jenna that I'd sort of forgotten about temporarily for like a few seconds.
Sorry, love. I'm just text flirting with a stranger.
And I said, "I'm sorry. Like, do you guys realize who this woman is?" And she said, "No, I've never heard of her."
What a surprise!
And the other girl next to me, her friend hadn't even heard of her. So I'm sort of trying to explain. She's a very well known person, and
hard one to explain in a cafe.
Yeah, but just from just a human being,
almost as hard as doing it on radio.
It would be very interesting, no matter who you are, to meet this person.
Yeah.
Because she's just the best at what she does. And
she's the LeBron James of
of what she does.
It's like if you met Roger Federer. Same thing. Exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
It's cool to meet the people at the top of their industry.
Yeah.
And
so that's why you wanted to meet her.
And, I said, "Oh, this is going to be amazing, hey." And she's like, "I think you seem a bit more enthused than everybody else." And I'm like, no, I think it'll be fine. And then she said, "Listen, I think I'll just go."
So did this girl think she was on a date with you?
Yeah, I think it was at that moment that I realized. She said, "Oh, if you prefer to meet Jenna than me, then I'll just go." And I said, "No." What? What? You're being ridiculous. I don't care to meet Jenna. Why would you think that?
Yeah.
So did you just miss out on a really nice date with this girl and have a great night with Jenna, or?
This is a bad story. This is such an awful story because I was just a good bloke and was like...
awful, mate. Get out.
I know. I blew it. And I'm like...
What did you end up doing?
He's headbutting the microphone, everyone.
I said, "No, if you want to go, let's go." And my heart, my like 15-year-old heart was just breaking into 1,000 pieces. And I said, "Yeah, let's go." I'm like, "I guess I'll get another chance to meet Jenna Jameson." And I never did.
How did it go? You never did?
No, that's why it's an awful story.
I'd say that's even rarer than the blue blood moon.
Yeah.
I mean, I just couldn't be bothered to walk outside last night, but if I had have had the blue blood moon texting me, I probably still wouldn't have been alive, to be honest.
Sorry for bringing the vibes down this year, everyone. That's the saddest story ever told.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to check out Joseph Green at the festival, where can they find you, Joseph? On Facebook and Instagram?
Facebook, Joseph Green Comedy, and Mr. Joseph Green on Instagram.
Yeah, brilliant. So check him out there. Tickets are on sale now. We both highly recommend Joseph. We've seen him for many years working on his act, and he's a good friend and an even better stand-up comedian.
Doesn't say much about your friendship, mate. All right.
Yeah, he's too interested in other adult film stars than talking to us. It's Luke and Lewis. Luke, I want to talk to you about journalism websites desperately trying to appeal to millennials to get clicks for money.
Yeah.
It's
the
absolute epidemic at the moment.
Yeah, I see it everywhere, and these are like not those joke fake news websites. These are actual news sources like Pedestrian TV,
Yes.
News.com, desperately trying to appeal to our demographic, when really no one my age reads the news.
That's their real problem. There's
Yeah.
a whole bunch of 30-year-old dudes being like, how do we appeal to 20-year-olds to read the news? You've already messed up your whole plan. We don't read the news.
just
We're playing smartphone games.
Yeah, put more money into Angry Birds and then we'll listen up.
But yeah, I'm happy that you brought up Pedestrian because Pedestrian is actually the worst culprit of this.
Yeah.
They are always trying to appeal to millennials with just weird clickbait headlines that try to use language that they seem to think we use, but clearly we don't, and it just comes off as cringy. So I've got an example for you. This one is clearly a ad disguised as a news article. Sports Girl's new skincare line is here to turn you into a glowy baby angel. No, it's not.
Well, look, even like, I know that's not trying to directly appeal to me. It's probably trying to appeal to females more, being it a sports girl ad / news article. But even if I was a girl, I don't want to be turned into what was it?
A glowy baby angel.
No, I don't want to be that no matter who I am. No one wants to be a glowy baby angel.
No, and I know for a fact that I don't think you can really get anything at Sports Girl for over $30.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any glowy baby angel products there. So... fail.
Yeah.
What I've done...
I bet you like a 45-year-old dude wrote that as well.
Yeah, it was definitely wrote by a man, for sure. So what I've got here, Luke, is I have 4 news headlines aimed at millennials. 2 of them are real pedestrian headlines. 2 of them are some that I've just made up. And I want you to guess which one's real, which one's fake.
All right.
All 4 of them are pretty much as cringy as each other.
Right. Are you going to read all 4 at once or just 2 at a time?
I'll read 2 at a time.
Read 1 real one, 1 fake one.
Okay. Are you ready? All right. The first headline is... the new Real Housewives of Melbourne cast will make you OMG. Hashtag shocker.
Okay.
The second one.
I think that's real because I just hate the news and Yeah, but go.
Okay. The second one is... Stu Laundy found out he and Sophie Monk had split up via Instagram and OMFG. OMFG being in capitals. Which one's real?
These both sound like... I feel like I've read both of these before.
They're both truly awful.
I'm going to say OMFG is fake. The Sophie and Stu one because I don't think they put the F word in it.
Incorrect.
Really?
That's a real headline by Pedestrian TV. So, obviously, I'm a lot more relatable to millennials than they are.
Yeah.
So, all right. Now, these are the last 2. All right. So, the first one...
Really? That was a headline?
Yes. All caps included. All right. So, here's the first one. All the fire and certifiably insane fashion moods from the 2018 Grammys. That's your first one.
Yep.
Giant headline. Second one, 36 reasons why the 90s kids are the best kids.
Oh, both of these sound real again.
Yeah. Both sounding very desperate. One's using moods, which is not a word that's used, and the other one's just talking about 90s kids.
I think you've made up the one about the Grammys and the 90s kids one is real.
Incorrect again. So the first one, both of those 2 were Pedestrian TV ones. So the more cringy and fake sounding.
I was about to say I'm going to boycott Pedestrian TV, but I never read it anyway because it doesn't matter. But wow.
Oh, well, nice try, Pedestrian TV. Keep on going.
Not relatable.
Maybe Luke will click you one day. It's Luke and Lewis.
Lewis, earlier today, read a story about a woman in America trying to get a peacock on an aeroplane. Did you read this one? Were you across this?
I've heard about this.
Yeah.
So in the cabin or in the luggage area?
No, it wasn't trying to smuggle it in with the luggage. She wanted it in the plane with her because she said...
a live peacock.
Her argument was that it was an emotional support peacock and that she needed it on the flight in order to have a safe, relaxing flight.
Fair enough.
She offered to buy the bird its own plane ticket which is keen.
Well, you know what? When I saw this news article, I saw photos of a peacock, and I've seen peacocks like in documentaries and stuff. I didn't realize how like big they are, because it's not just incredibly long because of its tail. It's also like quite tall.
They're like an emu with a really low center of gravity.
Like they're like an emu trying to get under something.
Yeah,
that's what they are.
A crouching emu is a peacock essentially. And the thing is, the actual reason, like, well, why do you think the airline didn't allow it? There is a reason why they didn't allow it, but it's probably not why.
Because they're heartless,
right?
And they like, you know, I hear your concerns about needing emotional support, but we don't care about that.
No, the reason was actually the airline claimed that the peacock did not meet the size and weight requirements to board the plane. That was the only reason.
So they're fat shaming this peacock.
Essentially, yes.
Because your peacock's a little bit too chubby, you don't get that emotional support.
Yeah,
that's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I think it should have been allowed on the plane.
Why?
Like, well, what if you? Okay, picture this, Luke. You're in a plane. You are just sitting there having a good time, peacockless, and then all of a sudden you go, "Oh no, I need some emotional support."
I've been peacockless on every flight I've ever been on.
And that's why when we've flown together, you start crying.
You're right,
because you need a bit of peacock support.
Maybe I was missing my peacock. But here's the thing: in the past, though, airlines have allowed.
I think that having a peacock would be a great boon on a flight. Really, I mean, if you ever need some privacy, you get it to fan its tail feathers out.
They only do that when they get horny.
Well,
when they want to mate.
Exactly, the perfect time for some privacy.
If I ever saw a peacock do that on a plane, I'd be like, I don't know who's touched the peacock. Someone needs to lay off. Here's the thing. In the past, airlines have allowed people to board flights with therapy animals, like for emotional support. But apparently it's increased so much in recent years that people, like airlines, believe people are abusing the system to the point...
Look, I don't know how serious needing emotional support is.
No. Well, it got to the point where
like
in 2000...
a guide dog, sure.
Yeah,
have a guide dog.
That's not really. That's physical support as well.
Yeah, you need that. But you can be a little bit bummed out on a flight for 2 hours, can't you?
Oh, it depends. If you go to Canberra, I'd probably want to bring my peacock on that one.
I'd bring my emotional support zoo.
Lewis, Lynx have released Lynx Australia.
Oh, again?
Finally. Yeah, no, I think this is the first one.
Is this a new one? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, I'm thinking of Lynx Africa.
Yes, they're going around the globe
Much
now.
more well-known than Australia.
Yeah, they're going around... Oh, that's a continent. And then they've gone to small little Australia. They've thought that we
Sorry,
deserve
Luke,
a fragrance.
just stop you there. Is Australia not a continent?
Australasia isn't it?
I'm just going to let that one sit in the air.
Australia is a continent.
Yep. Yes, it is.
No, we'll talk about this off air because I know I'm going to say
I'll give you a
something.
geography lesson later, man.
I did geography. I quit though. It's hard to tell.
Did you? Yeah, so they've released a new fragrance, and it's very hard to advertise a deodorant, really, because it's a smell. And Lynx have been trying to advertise Lynx Australia in just one of the weirdest ways I think you could have done it.
Well, they've made an ad advertising Lynx Australia set in New Zealand, but targeted at Australians.
Yeah, and basically we have the ad here. What I think they're trying to do is they're trying to make it sound like New Zealanders look up to Australia so much that if you spray Lynx Australia onto someone from New Zealand, they become better. This is the ad.
Hey, it's Humphrey. My brother Darius is choice at everything. He's the best at rugby. He's the best at running in jandals.
What's with the cricket bat?
He's the best at DJing.
The thing goes.
He's just so chill and confident. He can even talk to girls. Strange behaviour for a Kiwi, you know.
So their marketing campaign is to call the entire country of New Zealand bad at everything unless you add a little bit of Australia into it.
Which is bizarre considering it's not targeted at New Zealanders. We
Yeah.
already know we're the best. We don't need a new little New Zealand kid telling me that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but all I learned from that ad is okay, I guess if I was from New Zealand, I might need that, but I don't.
I don't think New Zealanders would agree with this ad.
No.
I don't think they look up to us at all.
No, exactly. It'd be like advertising Lynx America to us.
Yeah.
By saying that we'd be better at everything if we sprayed it on.
We'd be certainly better. We would probably be better at the Olympics, basketball, baseball. You know what? Maybe we should. That's actually a good marketing campaign.
I need some Lynx America.
Yeah, they should really need it. But we thought, you know what? This ad is absolutely. It didn't connect with us.
No.
Not relatable.
No, they need a new ad that really will connect with Australians.
We tried to make an ad that connected with Australia to advertise the new Lynx Australia, and we think we did a better job. Hey, it's Big Kev. My brother Dingo is fair dinkum at everything.
No, my name's Dingo. I'm fair dinkum at everything.
He's the best at test match cricket. I mean, not the real sport, the board game.
How's that? Your turn.
He's the best at running in thongs.
Oh, look at me go, the 100-metre thong sprint. Call me Usain Thongs.
And he's the best at the wobble board.
All together now. Thong me kangaroo down. Thongs, thong me thong, thong, thong.
What's the punchline to this sketch? Is there a punchline to this sketch?
Attention listeners. Despite a strong start to this Lynx ad parody, Luke and Lewis were unable to think of a punchline for this sketch. After minutes of deliberation, they have decided to end it without one. On the plus side, please do enjoy our robust selection of modern and digital music or an ad.
Luke and Lewis for lunch. Hold the mayo. Triple M Modern Digital.
Luke, it's time to talk about our missing 60 Savoys.
It breaks my heart that we still don't have 100 packets of Savoys at reception or in our hands.
Yes.
When we were so clearly, enthusiastically promised them by Renee.
Yeah, the PR representative from Arnott's promised to send us 100 boxes of Savoys. We've played the recording at least 100 times on this show, and every single person who's heard it heard her say, boys, stop stressing.
She said, boys, listen up. I got something to send you, and that is 100 boxes of the most premium savoury biscuit you can get your hands on.
That's an exact
in any
quote.
Retail store.
That's exactly what she said.
Yep.
And
Don't play the recording, Mike.
So what we've been doing is we received 40 of those boxes, 40% of the promised shipment, and we've been trying to get on to Renee for ages to track down the other 60. We've called Australia Post, accused them of stealing it.
Yep.
They hung up on us, swore at us, didn't enjoy it. So we tried calling Renee to track her down. And apparently she's been on annual leave. Well, she was supposed to finish her annual leave 2 days ago. But she's still not picking up the phone.
I mean, I'm sure she's busy, but surely sending 100 boxes to the Savoy Boys is a top priority on her public relations list.
Yes.
Surely. What else? I don't know what else she does, to be honest.
We are the Savoy Boys.
Yes.
And she's ignoring us. She's avoiding us, which makes me... Look, I don't know. I don't think I can say it now.
Okay.
I think I have something that's so sad that instead of saying it now, what I did before the show is I actually stepped into a booth of emotions. I played some sad music and I recorded this official statement. It is with great regret that I must inform our listeners that despite her annual leave being over 2 days ago, Renee has not answered any of our phone calls. Despite enthusiastically promising, swearing to us that she would post 100 boxes of Savoys to our office, we have only received 40 of those boxes and Renee has gone missing, perhaps with the other 60. Though this is an incredibly sad day for the Savoy Boys and what some would call a win for our mortal enemies, the Jats Rats, we promise, as enthusiastically as Renee promised 100 boxes of Savoys, that we will use the 40 boxes in our possession to spread the word of the Savoy Boys. Because unlike some PR representatives that may or may not work at Arnott's who have names that rhyme with G'day, we will never dog the Savoy Boys. That's right. Unfortunately, listeners, we don't think we're going to get those 60 boxes of Savoys.
They're not on the way.
Renee, they're not on the way. They've gone away with Renee.
Unlike,
sad to say.
Sorry,
I'm still rhyming.
Sorry.
It's an awful day.
Continue. Just let me know when you're done.
That's all I have to say.
Unlike Winter in Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
those boxes are not coming.
No.
Lewis didn't get that joke because
I
he's not a
haven't seen
huge
Game
fan
of
of the
Thrones.
show.
I
But for
usually
those
play
who
video
are,
games.
we'll be sad about two things. That joke being said on radio and the boxes not coming.
But-
Just like Winter in Game of Thrones.
But Luke, not all is lost, because
We
I'm
have-
happy to report
We had another realization, ladies and gentlemen.
we still have 40
40
boxes of Savoys!
That is 40 more than we had over a week ago, which is quite a lot. We still don't know what to do with
That's
them.
so many boxes, man.
It's-
I've only ever had like 2 boxes at one time. Now I've got 40.
I don't know what to do with them. Oh, well, we need your guys' help. I mean,
Yeah.
a few people have already been suggesting what to do with the boxes. We've had suggestions of a picnic.
A Savoy boy pick?
Yeah, Savoy Boy picnic. Everyone comes, has Savoys.
Yes.
We've had my personal favourite was my suggestion, which is where we make a boat out of the boxes and
Yep.
then we make an island out of Savoys just so we can say Land Savoy. So that was
well,
my
we're definitely
personal.
doing that one.
Yeah.
But we need your suggestions. What should we do with these 40 boxes of
Did
Savoys?
you work out how many Savoys we had?
I
It
did
was
a bit
over
of...
like 1,000, wasn't
Yes, it's about 2,160
Wow.
Savoys.
it? What do you do with all those Savoys?
I'm going to eat one of them. So what do you do with 2,159 Savoys?
Let us know on our Facebook page or Instagram. Contact us. We'd love to know because really, we've got too many Savoys. Well, almost not enough. 100 would have been better. But let's not dwell on it.
We have almost enough Savoys.
Yes.
And seeing as the listeners, you guys are all Savoy boys as well.
I think there's a few Jats rats, unfortunately, who are still tuning in.
Well, if you are a Jats rat,
They're
please
spies.
turn off the radio, okay? Power down your Tesla if you're listening live. If you listen to the podcast, turn off your iPod, okay? And get yourself some Savoys. And we need your suggestions. What should we do with them? Luke and Lewis, and that is all we have time for tonight. It's the end of the show.
Yes.
Thank you very much for listening, everybody.
Thank you very much for Joseph Green for joining us on the show. Thank you
Yes.
for pegging rocks at our window. It was great to have a chat with the man. Go check him out at the Comedy Festival.
Yeah, and if anyone else would like to jump on the show, just stand outside the window
Yep.
and throw things at us.
Yeah.
We'll come out and probably let you on the show.
And no thank you to Renee, who didn't join us on the show today.
I was in a really good mood.
Yeah,
I remember
sorry.
that we're still missing 60 boxes.
We are, well, they're not coming now.
But I'm just got myself back into a good mood.
Yeah.
So remember, we've still got 40.
Still got 40 boxes. Very exciting stuff.
So let us know what we should do with the 40 boxes of Savoys. That's the end of the show. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and the podcast. We will see you tomorrow.
Fist Bump Fridays tomorrow.
Woo!
Warm up those fists.